Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor Ipshita Bansal from BPS Women's University, Sonipat, Haryana. Today we will be discussing about the module Interplay of Spirituality and Management of the paper Indian Perspectives on Human Quality Development. By the end of this module, the students will be able to understand what spirituality and spiritual intelligence is, appreciate the interplay of spirituality with management for better results, and learn about the spiritually inspired businesses and leaders. In an increasingly globalized and turbulent business environment, employees find themselves more stressed and confused. The concept of social welfare is considered irrelevant. An employee finds his or her job life being cut short too harshly. Downsizing and layoffs have disastrous impact. Life has become like a ship which has comforts in it, but the important thing is missing, that it has no compass and does not know where to go. The spiritual principles provide the compass in the human ship so as to make the sailing smooth in the working environment. Since ancient times, the life of human beings has always been touched with spirituality in some or the other way. Renovation and upgradation of new technologies have transformed human life. But in the midst of this progress and advancement, spirituality plays an important role. The materialistic life, which is full of luxuries, gives a temporary satisfaction to people due to the rising needs. The worldly desires are like a restless bird. The more it gets, the more it wants and remains unsatisfied. Therefore, the focus is now required to have a shift from accomplishing the materialistic desires to a touch of spirituality which can fill the life with peace, calmness and tranquility. The concept of spirituality. Spirituality is the truth of our inner self. In that inner being is the existence of a spirit to make journey of life possible in the enormous system. Let me tell you a story of a balloon seller. Once there was a balloon seller carrying the air balloons of various colors and styles. Whenever he feels that his sale of balloon is low, he used a different strategy to promote it. This similar thing happened one day when he realized that the sale is low. He adopted the strategy and left one balloon in the air. The balloon went up high and high in the sky. Looking at the balloon, many children came running to that balloon seller to purchase the balloons. At that time, a little boy asked a question to the balloon seller. "Uncle, will this red balloon will also go as high in the sky as the yellow one is going?" The balloon seller replied, "Son, the color of the balloon does not matter. It is something which is inside the balloon that matters." Spirituality is interconnected to our spirit, our soul. No matter of what class, caste, creed we belong to, no matter our outer color is fair, dark or wheatish, God resides in all the human beings. So, spirituality says that we all are the children of God, and if we remember God in all our acts by doing good deeds along with removing our impurity, we shall be interconnected to that supreme power. What is spirituality? Spirituality is the search for the source of everything. the inner path to find one's unique essence, a passageway to the perfection within us, which brings us together in one thought. Concept of spirituality in Bhagavad Gita. Spirituality primary is our soul, that is Atma, that is on its cosmic journey of 8.4 million expression, an earthly cycle of 96.4 million years. The complete cycle of 8.4 million expressions is one single lifetime for the spirit within the soul. The soul is eternal by nature, and no death holds no significance in spiritual world. It is just a change of form from one expression or manifestation to another. In human form, the soul is capable to work and remove the impurities within. The human form may fade and die, but the soul shall persist and live in the spiritual path until the end of the journey of 8.4 million expressions. A spirit shall manifest a new body, waiting to reach last stage of cosmic life. That stage is of enlightenment and the ultimate salvation, that is moksha. Puffed up with blown up ego, we believe that we are an earthly creature, just controlled by passion, chance and destiny. But in reality, we are the immortal soul on its cosmic journey. Ego is a distraction in the spiritual journey towards eternal life. Thus, this pole of ego should be conquered by the pole of soul. Poles of attention. The awareness of our own self is represented by identical poles of attention. These two poles are known as a subject pole of attention and the object pole of attention. The object pole is a state of body and mind, whereas the subject pole is the awareness of our own consciousness. Therefore, the object pole is linked by ego, which is connected to body and mind and is identified as the false self. Moreover, the subject pole is linked by soul with the feeling of awareness of the heart and conscience and is identified as the true self. Twin poles of attention. Subject pole is the soul, that is true self, and object pole is the ego, that is false self. The ego is never satisfied and always searches for satisfaction in the outer world. The soul is full of wisdom, peace, happiness, and never seeks satisfaction in the outer world. The ego only thinks about self, but the soul works for the happiness of all. The real meaning of spirituality is the shift from false self to true self, from ego to soul, from edging God out, ego, to strengthening our union with Lord, that is soul. Spiritual intelligence. Spirituality is the capability to be familiar with intelligence beyond senses. We can surrender to this utmost intelligence through self-awareness, dedication and prayer. Therefore, spiritual intelligence is the ability of a person to visualize and achieve goals for the betterment of society. Intelligence represents the power of intellect which leads us to right path of action. Intellect can be more superior when connected to the soul. The Bhagavad Gita explains the 5 realities or the relationship between body, senses, mind, intelligence and soul. It says that the senses are superior to the body, the mind is superior to senses, the intellect is superior to mind, and above intellect is the spiritual soul, that connects one to God. Therefore, the soul is superior to all, and this is the reason that when the power of intellect is linked to the soul, it becomes the spiritual intelligence, which is the ultimate power. These 5 realities are represented below. On the left hand side, we see a circle in which soul is at the center and his body is at the outer periphery. And on the right hand side, we see the pyramid, that is the hierarchy of 5 realities with body, senses, mind, intellect and soul at the most superior point. Spiritual intelligence as inner voice. Mahatma Gandhi referred spiritual intelligence as the inner voice, which helped him to walk on the right path of ahimsa. Spiritual intelligence helps us in exploring the innermost secrets of the material and non-material world. To be aware of our own spirit is the secret of happiness, pleasure and best leadership. As it is said, Aham Brahmasmi and Tvam Brahmasmi, that is, God resides in me and God resides in you. Therefore, we all have the Spirit of God in us, so we need to strengthen the bond with the soul, and this is the path towards spiritual intelligence. Spirituality in management. Connecting spirituality with management increases employees' well-being by raising their confidence, dedication and efficiency, decreases employees' tension, burnout and nervousness in the workplace. Spirituality leads to employee well-being, sense of meaning and purpose, sense of community and interconnectedness, which ultimately results in increased productivity and performance. HR specialists say that employees' retention rates can increase with lowering recruitment costs if the workplace has the spiritually friendly environment. It will also witness a boost in creativity and innovation, better collaboration and cooperation, and higher bonding between the organization and its clients. Spirituality is not a policy to be regulated with management, but it is an exercise which needs to be adopted and practiced by individuals. The interplay of spirituality and management is possible when people are not only knowledgeable or intelligent, but spiritually intelligent. Materialistic orientation. Riches, property, image and position are the goals of individuals with a materialistic value orientation. Research says that ideas of materialistic and spiritual value orientations are somewhat unable to get along. Further, it is also said that the additional focus on materialistic goals minimize the focus on spiritual goals. The renowned psychologist describes that the spiritual goals aim to reduce personal suffering and support kind behavior, but the more priority on materialistic goals reduces personal well-being, and in addition to this, they are likely to engage in manipulative, aggressive behaviors. The inverted pyramid of materialistic person. For a materialistic person, the highest level need is the satisfaction of bodily needs, and the lowest level need is spirituality. As we can see that soul is put at the lowest level, then coming intellect, mind, senses and body. Such type of orientation cannot provide happiness on a long-term basis to anyone. The spiritual based management considers human beings as spiritual beings who have both money oriented and non-materialistic desires and needs. For them, materialistic desires and results are surrounded by the boundaries of non-violence, That is, they enjoy the pleasures of luxury, but at the same time, they are kind hearted and help the needy by giving charities and other aids to society. The spiritualists work for collective welfare and shared group interest. They talk about interconnectedness with others, as the spirit is same within all human beings. This spiritual understanding is a feeling of universal love and compassion that provides our actions an inner reason and force. Mahatma Gandhi also said that when ego dies, the soul awakes. Transformation from materialistic orientation to spiritual orientation happens from ego, which is transformed to soul. Thus, the transformation is seen many times in the world when the sinners have risen to the level of saints. The life instant of Valmiki is worth quoting here, which transformed his life. Rishi Valmiki's soul was transformed by realizing the mistake and was enlightened. Along with this, he became the greatest saint of India, who is known as Valmiki. Later, he also wrote the most prominent Indian epic, Ramayana. So, how can we have modern management through spiritual wisdom? If we go through the modern theories, we will find that several modern management thinkers lay emphasis on profit, which works as the only cause of any business association. Against this, the trail of business ethics is inclined to make profit less important and social welfare as the prime cause. They somehow weaken profit making and only highlight on the social responsibility of business. The organizations are required not only to work for profit but also towards profit sharing. They are required to show the actual accounts and not use any wrong strategies to show the misleading data. Because the wrong decisions of management will affect not just the organization but also the stakeholders. To better manage ourselves and to connect with our conscience, it is needed to first gain absolute control over our senses. This can be done by the detachment with material temptations. Modern management through spiritual wisdom. The great Indian spiritual sage Ramakrishna said, "The world is water and the mind milk. If you pour milk into the water, they become one. You cannot find the pure milk anymore. But turn the milk into curd and churn it into butter. Then when that butter is placed in water, it will float." So practice spiritual discipline in solitude and obtain the butter of knowledge and love. Even if you keep that butter in the water of the world, the two will not mix. The butter will float. This is how, through spiritual discipline, higher self can be attained. Swami Parthasarthi says, "Do not lose the treasure of yourself for the pleasure of the senses." Spiritually inspired businesses. There are many organizations that are managing things through spiritual wisdom. These organizations, institutions play a major role in transforming social consciousness and are deeply committed to nurturing the human spirit. These spiritually inspired businesses are also awarded and honored for their explicit spiritual practices, policies, and programs. Some of the examples of spiritually inspired businesses are Organic India, Sri International Financial Limited, Times of India, Excel Industries, Aarti International, Nicholas Piramal India Limited, etc. Organic India. Organic India is an enterprise which was started in 1990s by Bharat Mitra and a small group of people with the purpose of giving Ayurvedic herbal care for the fitness and comfort of individuals coming to India. It has taken 5,000 years of health wisdom and best technology to create finest merchandise that sets the benchmark and standards for best manufacturing and also ensures values with commitment to promote holistic sustainable development for everyone through harm minimization and maximization of organic agriculture with ethical standards, sustainable development by environmental friendly, economically responsible business that harms none and benefits all. Over the years, it has developed into a worldwide leader in encouraging organic products and in supporting sustainable farming, wildcrafting, and rural agricultural communities in India. Sri International Financial Limited. It was started in 1989 with the objective of being an active participant in nation building while providing value to its customers, shareholders, and the community at large. It was awarded International Spirit at Work Award in 2003. Sri's specific practices include interviewing candidates for employees to determine if their spiritual values are aligned with those of the organization, having a temple area in the main office where many employees stop and begin their days with a prayer, an altar space for work team, and beginning meetings with silent prayers. Let's now talk about Times of India. The Times of India Group is a 164-year-old company with businesses in publishing, internet, radio, television, music, multimedia, retailing, and news syndication. The company's specific practices include a training program for all employees called Self Mastery to assist in controlling ego. Recently, it conducted a study on the impact of spiritual methods, evaluating the effectiveness of various techniques such as yoga, meditation, and breath control in behavioral change and performance and potential. The Times of India has formed the Times Foundation to create consciousness for developing an effective civil society. The foundation has developed an International Institute of Inner Sciences, which provides spiritual training through the existing spiritual masters of multiple faiths, traditions to time employees and to government leaders and other members of the Indian community. This company is honored for its commitment to seeing the ultimate customer as God and helping employees catalyze the hidden divinity in each one of us. Excel Industries. Excel Industries received ISO award in 2004. They manufacture biochemicals and agrochemicals and have 1,200 employees. They have a strong focus on social responsibility and sustainability, demonstrated by careful attention to concerns such as natural waste management. They see spirituality as self-improvement and world service, with the divine lighting the way. Aarti International. Aarti International was honored for the promotion of the organizational culture in their company for all levels of employees. These programs are an integral part of their HR policy. They are being honored for choosing programs that are based on core spiritual values, which generate unity among people of various religious backgrounds through respect of each other's religious beliefs. Nicholas Piramal India Limited have been successful in filling their organization with spiritual values. They have provided spiritual guidance to the business community in the publishing of the CEO's book, The Light Has Come to Me, which uses 18 verses from the Gita to serve as the company's management philosophy. They are dedicated to providing spiritual guidance to all employees by incorporating prayer into routine work functions, providing yoga and meditation from one of the world's leading exponents, and allowing employees for all religions the expression of their own spiritual beliefs. Their commitment to the community by establishing programs to help empower women, teach the poor, and nurture people's health is highly admirable. Spiritual leaders and spiritually intelligent leadership. This is what we will discuss now. The spiritual leader never seeks to please others, but acts in a way which is advantageous to the world. It is due to this reason that the people are benefiting a lot from these persons, and they are respected for their sacred task of spreading happiness in the cosmos, which cannot be possessed by money or power. Nowadays, we require encompassing a paradigm of leaders and leadership which will be further accountable in upholding the sustainability of the business. As many of the organizations fail due to unethical practices and incorrect decisions which negatively affect the shareholders, and shareholders, this results in the loss of hope and trust on the leaders and management. Incorporating ethics and reliability in the existing structure of leadership and management are the need of the hour. This is possible by following the path of spiritual leaders and their leadership styles. The examples provide us the insights of spiritual leaders who manage things calmly and smoothly even at the time of troubles. While working with spirituality, the principle of surrender plays an important role. Surrender means one has to relax, meditate, and in that meditative state, solutions surface on the mind. Let's take an example of Lal Bahadur Shastri Ji as a spiritual leader. A former senior executive of General Electric, Sri Anandam, in an interview strongly responded to the principle of surrender and said that in 1960s our country India used to import rice from United States of America. At that time, Lal Bahadur Shastri Ji was the Prime Minister of India. Suddenly the circumstances changed as the United States of America threatened India to hold back the supplies until a particular agreement was signed. The IAS officers of that time suggested to Shastri Ji to sign on the agreement by keeping in view the larger interest of the country. But Shastri Ji had strong faith in the supremacy of the divine. One day he meditated about the problem, which resulted in a superb answer. He asked the people to close the hotels on Sunday and, if possible, skip a meal once a day. As an outcome, India saved an enormous amount of rice and warded off the US threat. Example of Mahatma Gandhi. When Gandhi started for Dandi March in March 1930, on the way near Bharuch, a man threatened to kill Gandhi at the very first opportunity he will get, as he was against the Gandhian way of ahimsa. The news reached Gandhi after 2 days, and thus Gandhi found out the name and address of that person and one morning reached his home and said, "Brother, I am Gandhi. Do you want my life? Take it soon. Nobody will know." But with this incident, the man was so touched that he changed from an ill person to the follower of Gandhi. What Gandhi did was not correct logically, as this might have hurt him, but here he followed his intuition, the path shown by his soul, and converted the ill-willed man by using his spiritual intelligence. The spiritually intelligent leader is therefore capable of transforming the souls of people. As a magnet transformed a small piece of iron into an influential magnet, in the same way, the spiritual leader transforms the ordinary man into an outstanding person. Spirituality is therefore the key to worldly success. It helps in connecting with God, the ultimate intelligence of cosmos, which also unite the job with peace and tranquility through the concern of others. So students, let's now summarize what we have studied in this module. In a workplace full of stress and anxiety, the need for development on the spiritual side is felt. Spirituality in management through spiritually intelligent leaders help in bringing harmony between values and technology, more eco-friendliness, bonding with others, and delivering additional value with less environmental burden. Spirituality in management aids in the well-being of employees. Spiritual values in the business promote economic competence and results in qualitative production. Human resources are the talent for the organization, and it is the responsibility of the management to make their talents work in the right direction. The approach of modern management, if based on spiritual wisdom, can bring the drastic change in the world, where satisfaction and happiness will prevail. Thus, spiritual leadership is the backbone for constructive management and sustainable development of any organization, institute of the country, and of the world at large. Thank you.